How's it going, people? If you're 17 years old or a new driver here in the UK, it can be ridiculously difficult to get a decently fast car without being stamped with an insurance quote that tears your wallet to shreds. According to an extensive study by Confused.com, 17-year-olds are paying on average £1,889 a year for their insurance. I remember when I was trying to find a car to get insured on, it was seemingly impossible to find a price that was in any way affordable for any of the cars I really wanted. Hence, I ended up driving a Skoda Fabia Estate, which funnily enough turned out to be the best decision I ever made. But if you're absolutely intent on driving a slightly quicker and nicer car at 17 years old that your friends will definitely rate highly, then you've come to the right place. Just as you guys asked for, in this video I'm going to talk you through the top 5 cheap and quick cars that you can insure as a new driver for less than the average insurance price for 17-year-olds. In order to do this, I did some extensive research and trial and error with one of the many insurance price comparison sites. Every car in this video you can buy for less than £3,000, insure for less than £1,800, and get road tax on for under £200. That means all of these cars will cost you less than £5,000 for your first year of driving, not including maintenance and repairs of course. Every car in this video also does 0 to 60 in under 12 seconds, which is much faster than my first car could do it. Quick point to highlight, I use the same details for every quote to keep things consistent. For the purposes of this video, I am 17-year-old James Bond who received his license 2 days ago and is looking to start his insurance in a week's time. I live in Greater London in an area which is neither super expensive nor super cheap to insure in. I have my grandmother, Peppa Pig, as a named driver on the insurance, as this helps me bring the premium down, and I have not completed Pass Plus or anything like that. If you want to see the full details of the insurance quotes, I'll link to a document down below for you to have a look over. Final couple of points to note before we begin. Firstly, remember that any second-hand car you buy has the potential to be unreliable depending on how well it's been maintained. Secondly, remember I do these videos from the UK market perspective, so prices in other countries may differ. Finally, all of these quotes unfortunately have black boxes included, which sucks, but as a young driver it's becoming increasingly unlikely that you'll get a cheap insurance quote without them. This does suck if you get to buy a nice quick car that you can't blast around the streets like you want to, but rest assured that after a year your quotes should come down massively, as it did for all my mates when I was 17. At that point you can get rid of it and crack on. To be honest, it'll probably just keep you safe for a year anyway. Apologies for the long intro, just had a lot to explain before we begin. Remember to like and subscribe and comment down below to let me know your thoughts on my picks. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting us off at number 5 with the Alfa Romeo Mito Veloce. This entry-level Italian hatchback is surprisingly quick, as its 4-cylinder 16-valve 1.4 litre engine produces 95 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in a very respectable 11.2 seconds. But the real bonus for going for the Mito is its interior styling. Bolstered sport seats with some interesting designs, a carbon fibre dashboard, and leather throughout make it quite a nice sporty space to enjoy for a young driver. It also comes with some nice alloys and with the right spec, painted brake calipers for an even sportier feel of the car. In terms of performance, it also comes with the Alpha DNA system, an onboard computer which allows you to set the car to 3 different modes: dynamic, normal, and all-weather. These modes control the behaviour of the engine, brakes, suspension, steering, and gearbox. And considering this is a first car, the fact that you get this kind of feature is insane. The car also has all the other standard benefits you'd expect, like AC, and most importantly, an aux input. There's an interesting story behind the Mito's name. It was provisionally named the Alfa Romeo Junior, but the company decided to run a competition to choose the name of the car. The name that was chosen was Furiosa, but Alfa decided not to call it this, instead naming it after 2 Italian cities: Milan, where the car was designed, and Torino, or Turin, where the car was assembled. This is also a play on the Italian word meaning mythical or legendary. But let's get into the important stuff. You can buy this beautiful car with around 60 to 80,000 miles on the clock for £3,000, but if you want to risk it with a high mileage model, you can get them for just under £2,000. Reliability is a bit all over the place with the Mito. Previous owners seem to be completely split down the middle. Some have had no issues and run the car into the ground, while others have had consistent issues, particularly with relation to the electrics of the car. According to the reliability index, it's got poor reliability compared with the norm, and the average repair cost is around £370. For that reason, I think with this car you have to be very careful and make sure that you have a pre-purchase inspection if possible. In terms of insurance, James was quoted a £1,746.99 premium. Not bad at all considering the badge and performance you're getting. This is partially due to a lack of young people driving the car, and partially because it sits in insurance group 11. Add on £140 for road tax and you're looking at a total of £4,886.99 for your first year, and you own an Alfa Romeo as your first car. It's a very good looking machine and something your friends will likely be quite envious of. I would happily have had one as my first car, if only to tick off the rite of passage that is owning an Alfa Romeo. And number 4 is a car I've mentioned previously and have personal experience of, the Mini 1 hatchback, specifically the R56 with the 1.4 litre inline-4 Prince engine that puts out 95 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in just 10.9 seconds. It averages 53 miles per gallon, the highest on this list, and I can personally attest it is a very comfortable and quick car for first-time drivers to get into. It has a nice premium interior with all the features you need, like AC, auxiliary port, and a charger for your phone. To make it feel a little bit more sporty, you can actually get a hold of models with a keyless start-stop system as well. A main benefit of the Mini is its looks. I personally really like it, and there are numerous companies offering additional parts for the car to make it look much more sporty. It's therefore a great entry into completing some interesting and personalised mods on your car, which can be a lot of fun to get into. Not to mention the fact that you have the sportier versions like the JCW and the Cooper to take inspiration from. It's quite a big car, but it feels adequately sized on the roads, and even if it's quite common, that previous point around the customizability of the car makes it possible for you to make something unique very easily. Maybe not quite as unique as the Yachtsman though, which was an April Fool's joke by Mini using the R56 chassis. Onto the important stuff again. The Mini is the cheapest car on this list to insure, with a premium of £1,295.99. Considering the annual road tax is also the cheapest on this list at £120, this is a great prospect at £4,415.99 if you buy the car for £3,000. This would have gotten you a 2007 or 8 model with 60,000 miles on it, though you can get high mileage models for around £1,800. In terms of reliability, many owners mention the car as having a few issues, and the reliability index does mention that it has slightly less than average reliability. However, from my own experience of the car, it seems to be mostly reliable when serviced on time and maintained well. The average repair costs around £450, and common problem areas include the timing chain, as well as the electrics like the run flat sensor failing. As with any car on this list, owner experiences are very mixed. Some have had bulletproof Minis, while others have spent a lot of time on the hard shoulder. A very decent car overall, and the cheapest to insure on this list. With a sub 11 0 to 60, this has to be a consideration for any young driver looking to get a bit of pace out of their first car. Onto the top 3, and in third place we have the 4th generation 5-door Seat Ibiza Sport. This car, named after an island famous for partying in Spain, has the largest engine on the list, boasting a 1.6 litre inline-4 that puts out 103 brake horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 in 10.5 seconds. It comes with all the standard interior features you would expect and need, mainly the aux cord, as well as some nice bolstered sports seats to keep you held in. A small point to add, but I also think it has the sportiest looking steering wheel on the list, and overall just pretty sporty looks. As this is a car from the Volkswagen Group, it also comes with the option to do a huge number of mods to the car, probably at least as many as the Mini, if not more. And to make life even easier for you as the designer of your unique Ibiza Sport, there's an Ibiza FR to take some inspiration from. Something that is particularly notable about this car is its reliability. The reliability index places the Ibiza as the 22nd most reliable car in the UK. That is absolutely insane. The average repair cost is also minimal, at £140. This means you can rest far more assured when you buy this car that it's going to keep putting in the miles, while you just keep putting in the petrol. But remember to learn to maintain your car anyway, as you can't just hope your car will continue to be fine. Almost all cars have problems one day if they aren't taken care of. These reliability figures were backed up by the German magazine Auto Bild, who named the car the most reliable small car in the history of Auto Bild's 100,000 kilometer endurance test. That's pretty insane. You can pick up an Ibiza Sport for a minimum price of around £1,500, but for £3,000 you'll get a 2008 model with between 50 to 80,000 miles on it. Pretty decent for such a theoretically reliable car. In terms of insurance, James was quoted £1,707.08, which when added with the quite hefty £195 car tax, takes the grand total to £4,902.08. Pretty sick for a 1.6 litre car with sport in the title. Not much more to say on the Ibiza, to be honest. I'm just so impressed by its overall reliability and the fact that you can insure it for under the UK average for 17-year-olds, despite having the biggest engine on this list. Taking a well-deserved second place, we have the well-loved second generation Suzuki Swift GLX, which is a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder engine which puts out a very respectable 101 brake horsepower, and does an even more respectable 0 to 60 time of 10 seconds flat. 10 seconds 0 to 60 and we're still under the average insurance price for 17-year-olds. This is most certainly a vibe. With the right options, the Swift includes some super nice features too, like keyless entry and stop-start, 15-inch alloys, AC, steering wheel controls, and the rest, except for potentially a massive massive deal breaker. I don't think this car comes with an aux socket or Bluetooth or any other way to connect your phone. I looked all over for it and I still see nothing. How can you drop dirty bangers in your car with just a CD player? Is it the 90s? If you're 17, you weren't even born in the 90s, so this is definitely not a vibe when it comes to the Swift. Swap that radio out ASAP. But anyway, rant over, back to the review. Despite its lack of an aux port, the Swift has been held in very high regard by the motoring world, having won more than 60 awards, including multiple Car of the Year awards. The car was also used in the Junior World Rally Championship as a Super 1600 contender, as well as the World Rally Championship in 2008, where it finished 5th overall. Pretty cool that at 17 years old you get to own a car that was at least in some way, even just by name and general shape, related to a WRC monster. And though it isn't as reliable as the trusty steed that is the Ibiza, the Swift is still listed in the top 100 most reliable cars on the Reliability Index at number 84, with the average cost of a repair being around £320. A few common problems I could find included the ABS light coming on due to a sensor failure, the engine light coming on due to poor fuel quality, and an engine vacuum leak from the throttle body gasket. But considering it's in the top 100 reliable cars in the UK, I'd say you're generally in quite safe hands, especially because for £3,000 you can get your hands on quite a low mileage model. You're looking at around 30 to 45,000 miles on the clock for that kind of money. You can also get these GLXs for very low prices, with high mileage models going for just £800. That could really save you an arm and a leg when it comes to overall car cost. In terms of insurance, the GLX came in at £1,424.55, which is the second cheapest car on this list, and the road tax is £155. Together with a £3,000 car, that makes £4,579.55. But if you were to go for a high mileage model, you could theoretically be looking at just £2,379.55 for your first year of driving. Not bad at all. You do risk the reliability aspect though, of course. Overall, I think this car is a real contender for young drivers looking to get into something quick and fun to drive. Owners rave about the car being super fun to drive and feeling much bigger than it really is. I'm definitely a fan of the car, and at 17 you can't go wrong with a car this quick and this cheap. Finally, we get to number 1. Dominating the competition, we have the Fiat Punto Evo Sporting, which boasts an incredible 8.5 second 0 to 60 time as a result of its 135 brake horsepower, turbocharged 1.4 litre inline-4 engine with multi-air. This basically means that it has variable valve timing for its 16 valves that are hydraulic rather than mechanical or electric. This ultimately helps with economy, as well as that insane 135 brake horsepower figure out of the little 1.4 engine, though the turbocharger should really be credited for this. The Punto Evo is basically a 2009 facelift of the Grande Punto, the third generation of Punto, which was released in 2005. The facelifts included new rear lights, a redesigned front end, and a new interior, which helped push the car forward a bit in terms of its looks. And I reckon the Evo Sporting is one of the best looking cars on this list, definitely a sporty little beast for 17-year-olds to get their hands on. Reviews note that the engine is a real positive in this car, as it offers a wide spread of torque and revs nicely with good noise. However, they also mentioned the 5-speed gearbox is a little bit of a letdown, and the suspension has inconsistent damping, leading to excessive bounce and poor handling. Therefore, when buying the Punto, think of it as something you might potentially want to swap the springs out on for something a little bit more sporty, and at least one of the two problems will therefore be resolved. In terms of reliability, though mechanically it seems to be not too bad, owners have mentioned poor build quality in other areas. Apparently, after a lot of mileage, the electric window motors, seat belt, sensors and steering bushes can fail or wear out, and some of the aesthetics begin to wear. However, they are generally regarded as quite easy issues to fix, hence the car has quite a low average repair cost at £190. Because of its power and speed, this car is slightly more expensive overall. Your £3,000 will only get you a Sporting with around 80,000 miles on the clock, so you may need to put in some time to check over the car or get a pre-purchase inspection done before buying. But this higher price isn't reflected in the insurance costs, as Mr. Bond received a quote of £1,720, making it still way under the average price for 17-year-olds. Add on low road tax of £120 and you're looking at £4,840 in total. Considering you're 17 and are driving 135 brake horsepower turbocharged car with Sporting in the name, that's really not too unreasonable. But prices for young drivers are pretty dead regardless, so anyway, a great car to take number 1 on this list, with a surprising amount of power and engine performance considering the less than average insurance costs. So, in this video, I've given you my take on the top 5 cars for 17-year-old drivers that cost less than £3,000 and can be insured for less than the average price for 17-year-olds in the UK. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks, and definitely let me know if you're a 17-year-old with a quick car that completely outclasses all of these. As always, remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date on the weekly uploads, lots more interesting content to come, and potentially some new series. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, I'll see you in the next one.
Listen.